Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Bit of a different video today compared to my usual channel content, but we're going to roll with it anyways, and I'll get back to speedrunning soon. Maybe. Anyways, without wasting any more of your time, let's jump into the 5 things that need to happen in the Halo Infinite campaign. Alright, so starting off with one of the more juicy things that I'd like to see in Infinite, and that is the return of the Banished from Halo Wars 2. So we already know, or pretty much know, that the Banished is going to be coming back with the little teasers that Halo have been putting out on their Twitter and stuff with the voice note from the Banished. So it is kind of confirmed that they're coming back, but if they do bring it back, which they will, I think anyway, they need to do it right. They need to do it in the way in which it makes the Banished seem like they're important and they play a big part in the campaign. And I think maybe at the end of the campaign it could set up for the future campaigns against the Banished, like Wars Against the Banished or something. And with Atriox possibly being in the game, there needs to be some sort of... He needs to be a scary and prominent character in the campaign, basically, is what I'm trying to say. They need to be scary like they are in Halo Wars, and they need to have a big role, which I'm sure they will, but they just need to do it right. And not just kill him off straight away in Infinite, I think. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. They're just a super cool enemy and they need to be in the game. I'll talk a little bit more about the role that the Banished could play in Infinite a little bit later on, alongside one of my other points that I'm going to be making. I just think it would be so cool to have like a sick battle scene with Atriox in it, fighting off maybe the other forms of enemy like the Created, or fighting the humans or something. Just a really cool battle scene with Atriox in it, seeing a bit more of Atriox and his evil side and stuff like that, and it could be some good character development for Atriox and so forth. I'm going to move on now from the Banished and talking about the Banished before I waffle on for too long, and I'll come back to them a little bit later on. Now, coming in at the number 4 spot is something a little less significant, but it's something I'd like to see in the campaign, and that's the freedom to explore, like in Halo 2. For example, the second level on Halo 2, the level Outskirts, you had all the freedom in the world to jump across every rooftop, explore all the way outside the map. You could do this on pretty much every Halo 2 mission. You could just jump out of bounds and explore wherever you'd want without the risk of a 10-second barrier or an instant death barrier like you see in Halo Reach. You could sort of explore in Halo 3, but there was a lot of invisible barriers. And it was just so much fun exploring outside the maps and seeing all these different things, like especially with the hidden skulls that were hidden throughout the map, way out of bounds. And it was just so cool to be able to explore outside with your friends, and it added like another level of things to do in the campaign. On top of this, it also made it feel so you weren't completely restricted to the play area. So if you had a sniper on Halo 2, you could jump up to the roof and just be out of bounds but still sniping in and continuing through the level from above. It was just, there were so many cool things you could do by getting outside of the map, and it just allowed you to not be completely restricted, like somewhat with Halo Reach, but you could get out of bounds with Halo Reach, but you get what I mean. Anyways, I just wanted to quickly throw that point out there, freedom to explore. But let's move on to the number 3 spot, and that's the fact that the game has to have a super sad section, in my opinion, like the death of a major character, or something along them lines that will really get the fans upset in a way, I guess that's the word to use, to get them attached to the game and to be like, wow, this campaign is so good. Now, I'm not saying kill off the Arbiter or something crazy, you know, but all I'm saying is Atriox could kill off a character who's pretty significant, and that could set up future games to get revenge on Atriox or something like that, where we have to go to war with Atriox, and that will make the players really hate him, like, oh, he's such a bad, evil character, or something along them lines that is just going to be really emotional to make the game a bit more gripping in the campaign. Something along them lines, like with what Halo 3 did with a certain character at the end of the game. I don't know, I don't want to spoil it, even though the game is 10 plus years old. I'm still not going to say what happened at the end of Halo 3. But yeah, something like that would be cool. Anyway, so stop me from waffling now and move on to the number 2 spot, which I think is probably the most important thing, and that is of course the return of the Flood. It would be great to see them come back. It makes sense for them to come back, and it could allow for some crazy 4-way battles between the Banished, the Flood, the created, and the humans. It would open up so many doors for the directions in which the campaign could go. We have to stop Atriox, we have to stop the Flood, we have to stop the created. There's so many things that could go on, so many things that could develop the story, and it would just be so good to have them back in the campaign. Especially with the return of a character like the Gravemind, I think it would really get Halo fans excited to play the game and to encounter the Flood again, and maybe have like a first encounter experience, maybe like on Halo Combat Evolved, where we first encounter the Flood. It could be like a surprise that the Flood are in the game, something like that. I'm excited to see what they're going to reveal in the Halo reveal tomorrow, the 23rd of July. They might even show off the Flood. I doubt they will tomorrow. I think they're going to keep that like a major secret, like they did with Combat Evolved. Well, not like a major secret, but I reckon they're going to keep that card close to their hands for players to discover when they get the game, and there's a sudden reveal of the Flood in the game. I think that would be so cool. They might reveal the Flood. Who knows? We'll see. We might see tomorrow. If not, we'll see when the game comes out. Just please, let's have the Flood in the game. Anyways, let's move on to the number one spot, and something I think is extremely important, and that is that the game needs to have a conclusive ending as well as setting up for a new Halo game. And by conclusive I mean, I think it needs to be somewhat the end of Master Chief's story, or as an apparent end to Master Chief's story. And I think the only way that that can be done is the retiring of Master Chief. Like maybe they finish a big fight and whatever, and he just goes, stuff it, I'm done. I think that's the only way to finish off the Chief's story. And he lives a somewhat happy life. He moves on from being a machine, like that is talked about throughout the Halo campaign. Something like that. I think it needs to be emotional and somewhat conclusive. They can always bring him back, maybe, I don't know. But as well as it being somewhat conclusive, I don't know how they're going to do it, but I think that's what needs to be done after waiting for 5 years of with Halo Wars in between. I think it needs to be conclusive. I've said that about 10 times now. It needs to be emotional, which I've said before, but it also needs to set up for the new Halo game, like I've spoke about in my previous points. Maybe with the Banished being a prominent enemy in the future games, something like that. We've just been waiting far too long to have another cliffhanger, and it's sending me crazy. So please, can we have a decisive ending and a setup for the new game? I think it also needs to be a happy ending with some sad bits in between in the middle of the game. Not like a certain game that just come out. Yeah, it needs to be done well written, and I'm sure it will be. It's in the hands of 343. So far it's looking good with the Banished reveal, the art style and everything, and them going back to their roots. So I'm sure they've got it all planned out. It's looking like it's going to be a great game. Everything's lining up so far, and I have full faith in 343 to produce an amazing game. So yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about the top 5 things that I would like to see back in Halo Infinite. Let me know what you guys think down below about what you guys would like to see in the game. If you guys would like to see another video about what needs to happen in the Halo Infinite multiplayer, what I think about that, then let me know. Also, I could do a video on my prediction for the Halo Infinite campaign and what I think is going to happen. I have some pretty cool ideas that I would like to see, or that I think will actually happen. So if you guys would like to hear that, then let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys later.